think that the way that Boris Johnson has dealt with all of this has been good, responsible, edifying, or are you a little bit disappointed at the constant seemingly wanting to wriggle out of taking any responsibility?
Well, I speak to you, Alex, having just come back from having my 4th jab. And I have to tell you that I'm very proud of the way this government has conducted itself in getting the whole vaccine programme up and running and all the work that's been done. You know, there's a whole host of other things going on. Watching Parliament today and watching the Prime Minister's questions, it was pretty unedifying spectacle. But I couldn't help feeling that, you know, if anything happened to Sir Keir Starmer, we'd end up with Angela Rayner as the possible future Prime Minister. If I have to make a choice, then I think I'd much rather have Boris, whatever he's been up to with Partygate and all the rest of it. I really think Partygate has been done to death and people are sick and tired of it. And it really is about time that we moved on to debate and talk about some of the many other issues that face us.
Yeah, I mean, in many respects, you're right. I don't think the general public have necessarily moved on. I think there's still a lot of ill feeling towards the Prime Minister because it seems to me that he just doesn't really want to accept culpability. And the excuse that there's pressing issues at home and abroad, well, he is the Prime Minister, for crying out loud. Of course there's going to be pressing issues he has to deal with, but surely that's exactly the reason we need to have faith in him, and especially we need to have faith in his character and his integrity.
Well, yes, I hear what you say, but let me tell you this, Alex, an awful lot of this is still about Brexit. A lot of this is people trying to get rid of the Prime Minister who didn't like the Prime Minister in the first place, who've never forgiven him for Brexit, and who are determined to replace him with somebody who would be much weaker on Brexit, who have forgotten that he won a general election with that as the main issue only 2 years ago. And yes, of course, it would be wonderful if we had a saint with a halo and wings sprouting out of his back and who'd never ever put a foot wrong. But what we've got in Boris is a real live human being. And yeah, he makes mistakes. But on the big issues of the day, and I would add to Brexit and I would add to recent conduct of the pandemic, I don't agree with what you said about lockdown, I would add to that Ukraine. I mean, my grandmother came from Ukraine, so I'm watching it day by day. And our Prime Minister, our British Prime Minister, is leading the vanguard in getting arms and heavy weapons to the Ukrainians to make sure that they can fight off the Russians and do it on our behalf for freedom and democracy right through Europe.
I totally agree with you about the UK's fantastic performance when it comes to leading the vanguard against Russia and you know, with their invasion of Ukraine. But we don't have a presidential system, do we? The Prime Minister doesn't act in, you know, a completely unilateral manner. He has advisors, he has government departments behind him, and whoever is leading the country would surely pick up where Boris Johnson has left off.
Oh, I don't think that follows. I mean, if you think about it, Alex, the previous Prime Minister, Theresa May, was quite a saintly character. And when it came to Brexit, she was absolutely useless, which is why in the end, it took 3 years, she was replaced. The party just couldn't put up with that any longer. And no sooner was she replaced that within a matter of months, we had a general election and we returned with a whacking great majority. And that matters. That matters, it seems to me. I mean, you open your sentence with yes, 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 and then you go, but. I don't do any buts. I don't like what happened in Downing Street. I think many of those civil servants and those advisors should have been thinking a lot harder. You make the rules for other people. You make those rules for good reasons. You make those rules to try and save lives and to emphasise over and over again that we were facing a lethal contagion, the like of which has never been seen in living memory before. That's why you made the rules. And that's why they should have said, no, we're not having any parties. You want to have a party? You go to a pub. Oh, the pub's shut. There's a reason the pub's shut. Go home. That's what they should have said.
That's what they should have done, but they didn't, did they? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Edwina, it's always wonderful talking to you, and I'm glad you managed to calm your dog down a bit as well. Thank you ever so much, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.